Charles and the Queen Consort Camilla have attended Parliament for the first time since he became the monarch. He addressed lawmakers and quoted Shakespeare's Henry VIII. Charles said the Queen, who died last week at the age of 96, had been, in his words, a pattern to all princes living.
As I stand before you today, I cannot help but feel the weight of history which surrounds us and which reminds us of the vital parliamentary traditions to which members of both houses dedicate yourselves with such personal commitment for the betterment of us all. Parliament is the living and breathing instrument of our democracy. While very young, Her late Majesty pledged herself to serve her country and her people and to maintain the precious principles of constitutional government which lie at the heart of our nation. This vow she kept with unsurpassed devotion. She set an example of selfless duty which, with God's help and your counsels, I am resolved faithfully to follow.
Britain's Prince Harry has also paid a highly personal tribute today, referring to the Queen in a statement as Granny. He called her a guiding compass. And after a 6-hour journey from Balmoral yesterday to Edinburgh, the Queen's coffin has arrived in that city. Thousands of mourners have gathered to pay their tributes there.
Crowds lined the roadside on Sunday to pay tribute to their late monarch, in the first of a series of solemn events leading up to Queen Elizabeth's funeral. An oak coffin covered with the royal standard of Scotland and topped by a wreath of flowers was placed in a hearse by 6 gamekeepers at Balmoral Castle, where she died 3 days earlier. For the next few hours, the cortege slowly made its way through small towns and villages to Edinburgh.
I think it will be very emotional for everyone saying goodbye. You don't know how you're going to feel when you see it. But it was important for us just to be here.
It was a sentiment shared by her son and successor on Saturday as Charles was officially proclaimed king.
I know how deeply you, the entire nation, and I think I may say the whole world, sympathise with me in the irreparable loss we've all suffered.
The new sovereign and Queen Consort Camilla have been much in evidence in the past few days, meeting some of the thousands of mourners at Buckingham Palace. As have his 2 sons, William and Harry, and partners, apparently overcoming their recent estrangements, to greet and console people outside Windsor Castle on Saturday.
Well, thank you so much for being here. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
In Edinburgh on Sunday evening and across Britain, the royal family and the public were beginning a long and emotional week of preparation and veneration. After lying in rest at St Giles Cathedral in the Scottish capital, the Queen's coffin was due to be flown to London on Tuesday. She will lie in state for 4 days at Westminster Hall, where many more thousands of mourners are expected to pay their respects, before an elaborate state funeral set for Monday, 19th of September.
Let's go live now to our London reporter Alex Isaac, who joins me now. Alex, we had that address to Parliament this morning and the King then on his way to Scotland. Tell us how the rest of the day unfolds.
Absolutely. So what we are expecting to see is King Charles himself walking alongside Queen Elizabeth II's coffin from Holyrood as it heads to St Giles Cathedral, where it will stay for 22 hours for the public to be able to come and pay their respect. We're expecting King Charles to give us a speech at the cathedral And we're also expected to see a lot of the other royals there as well. We're not sure exactly who's going to be walking in the procession. We understand that maybe the Queen Consort and some of the other royals will be in a car behind King Charles, but he is expected to walk down the Royal Mile and allow well-wishers to give a moment to pay their respects as Queen Elizabeth II's coffin walks past. And that will stay, as I said, in St Giles Cathedral for the next 22 hours, and then it will head to London here near Westminster tomorrow.
And Alex, on the funeral, which takes place on the 19th of September, next Monday, a week today, how are plans for that shaping up?
Well, as you can see here, I'm on the Mall at the moment. They are already setting up some of the gates and to make sure that people are going to go smoothly down this road, so there's not going to be too much distraction for people and then it's not going to get crowded. See, it's quite busy and everything is starting to keep moving. They're expecting that hundreds and thousands of people will come down here on the day of the funeral, but also in the run-up, because people will want to go and pay their respects at Westminster to the Queen, where she'll be lying in rest so people can come and see. There's a lot of rules and regulations that have been put out. If you want to go and see the Queen's coffin and pay your respects, that you have to stand by. They're not going to be allowing any admittance to people that they assume shouldn't be there for nefarious reasons. But generally, they're trying to be as strict as possible to make sure that everybody who wants to come and pay their respects can. At the moment, as you can see, there's lots of things that are happening around here, but there are also portaloos and a lot on around London Centre itself. It's definitely going to be a very busy week ahead up until the 19th.
Okay, thank you, Alex. And we know that the guest list is being put together for that funeral. The White House has confirmed that Joe Biden has received his invitation. We know that he plans to be there, but it's not simple for world leaders, given that the funeral falls close to the United Nations General Assembly. For example, it's also an incredibly difficult logistical exercise for authorities in London, but diplomatically as well. After the funeral, the Queen will return here to Windsor, where she'll be buried alongside her husband, Prince Philip.